Give me 1 second.
And Ashley, if you wanted to go ahead and play some intro music, we are live.
Oh, sure, music. My computer said I'm having to.
All right, everyone. I'm not a DJ, so that was a tough transition. I married a music man. Haven't learned all the skills. Hey, everyone. We are live streaming our end of session party. Welcome. Live streaming on Facebook, and then if you're watching this after the fact, it is June the 3rd, the year of 2021. And before we get started, I want to just acknowledge that today is a historic day in South Carolina. We have the first Black woman running for governor, and REN is a 501c3 nonpartisan nonprofit here in South Carolina, so we do not endorse any candidates, but we must acknowledge the historical significance of this day in this moment. And if Senator Mia McLeod is to win the Democratic primary and the governor's race, she would be the first Black woman to be governor in the entire United States. So not only first Black woman to run in South Carolina, but if she wins, could be the first Black woman to be governor in the country. So I just wanted to acknowledge the historical significance of this day because she announced she's running today. And then I want to welcome you all to our end of session celebration. It has been a whirlwind of a year, and we wanted to just take this time to come together and have some fun and have a party in the ways that we do while we're still grappling with the pandemic. So my name is Ashley Crary-Lito. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Director of Policy and Government Relations for the Women's Rights and Empowerment Network. Anybody who might be new to REN, like I said, we're a nonpartisan nonprofit based here in South Carolina to build a movement for the health, economic well-being, and rights of women, girls, and gender-expansive people here in the state. And we do that through building coalitions and policy work. And without our network, we would do nothing. So I wanted to make sure that y'all know that. And over the course of this legislative year, I like to give a little background because I'm a policy nerd. South Carolina runs on 2-year legislative cycles. So this was the first year of a 2-year cycle. So as we're celebrating that session is over, that's why we have the, well, kind of, because it's actually kind of the middle pause point, and then we'll come back into continue policy debates in January. And in fact, the policy debates will continue next week when they debate the budget. So that's why it's the end of session, kind of. And we're just so excited to be in community with all of y'all. Ren worked on over 25 bills this session that were wide ranging, addressing gender justice in South Carolina. And we have also been taking on policy positions at the local and national level. So make sure you're checking out our social media pages and our website and signing up for our newsletter so that you get all those policy updates. But that's not the point of all this. I'm not going to do all this policy wonk, wonk, wonk stuff on this. This is a party, and we have 3 amazing advocates who are going to play a really fun trivia game with us. Looking back, we're going to have some little competitions with these super advocates. Started out the party with a song, My Hero, because our Ren network members are my hero, and I really just love being in community with y'all. And to explain the game and to get us kicked off to introduce our players, I want to hand it over to our fabulous co-host, Kayla Millette, to introduce yourself and our competitors.
Okay, so thanks, Ashley. Hi, everyone. This is so exciting. This is an historic day for Ren. This is our first Kahoot trivia game ever. And it's so perfect because we've been trying new things all session. And I think just having our wonderful advocates on the Zoom call with us is a testament of some of the work that we've been doing in the direction that we have been moving in. And so we have Ren rock stars with us, advocates who have been a part of this work, not just during the last session, but for some of them for years, and can speak to the impact that speaking up and taking action can have. And so we wanted to have like just a really fun celebration with everyone and to offer folks a chance to reflect without getting too wordy or serious. And so we'll do trivia today. There'll be some true false, there'll be some multiple choice. And I know our advocates are pumped and primed. I don't know, they look a little competitive. Cora was like, what do I have to do to prepare? So,
well, Kayla, don't tell them already what I was thinking.
So I know they are super excited. I'm super excited. I'm always honored to share space with these folks. And so what I'm going to do very briefly is to allow each of them to introduce themselves and tell us where they are and maybe a little bit about what excites them about advocacy. And so Corey, do you want to begin?
Sure, I can begin. My name is Cora Webb. My pronouns are they, she, and I'm currently in the Low Country, Charleston, South Carolina. And, you know, it looks like it's going to rain outside, so today's going to be an interesting day because this is also Pride Week here in Charleston. And so this Saturday, we're going to have a Queer Youth Fest, and, you know, we're always getting things rolling over here, so it's always something going on. What gets me excited? I think coalition building and meeting new people with similar outlooks on life and people who are excited to get things moving in their community and get things done is one of my highlights. Currently, something that keeps me going. Like just being in community, especially now that we've had to establish bonds online, it's like a never-ending FaceTime, I would think, professionally and personally. But I think now that we are getting back in person, having like more hybrid, virtual, in-person stuff, you know, the fun continues, honestly.
Yes, we're so happy to have you with us, Cora. So happy. Then we also have Jonah joining us.
Hi, I'm Jonah. I prefer he, him pronouns, but I don't particularly care what you call me, to be honest. I'm in the Greenville, South Carolina area. Active with, as you can see, the Sunrise Movement and the Young Democrats of South Carolina. And I get excited about advocacy because it allows me to, you know, form connections with people who I share values with. and to make a difference in the community and on the planet, and just, you know, making new friends, and, you know, learn how to use the privileges that I'm aware of having to benefit other people, to help bring other people up, you know. And I don't know, I feel like if I weren't doing that, there would be so many wasted opportunities, and I just want to take advantage of all of it and just push for everyone's rights, you know, just go for all of it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Jonah, for the work you do and for joining us today. We are excited to have you as well. And then finally, Makara, do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Yes, hi, it's Kira. It's okay. Sorry you guys, y'all can't see my face, but I look a mess. I'm just waking up. But I'm here in Columbia, South Carolina. What else were you supposed to say?
Just what you love about advocacy.
Oh, okay. Well, what I like about this is that we're really honestly protecting women. Like, you know, I'm all women power, you know, because women go through a lot of stuff each day and don't even like, you would never expect a person to be going through what they go through, because they can have the biggest smile on their face, you know, looking really good, and they could be going through the worst thing that you ever could possibly imagine. And, you know, this government and stuff and these people, they think they God and they're not. And they just, you know, think they the shit and they're not. And, you know, they just trying to judge a person, trying to put rules on a person's body. And, you know, that's just not it.
I agree.
I agree. So if you're joining us for today's celebration / game show, if you can't already tell, our participants are amazing, and this is going to be a good old time. And so our questions today are a mixture again of trivia and multiple choice. And I will point out that they were compiled by members of the WREN team. And so if they feel extra challenging, don't look for me, look for everyone else, especially Ashley. And so I'm going to share my screen and share the Kahoot. And our players should already be logged in to Kahoot so that we can get this party started.
Now, just to be clear, I think I've signed in, but I'm not quite sure if I'm in or not.
I see you in there.
Okay,
They
great.
have you as Hufflepuff. Is that what you chose? I like it, you know. Can you guys see my screen? And you see the Kahoot question, the screen on your phone too, so that you can choose your responses.
Yes,
Now,
I
the
do.
Kahoot scoring is based not only on correct answers, but who answers the fastest. So no pressure, but get your thumbs ready so that you can chime in. And I don't know, was Melissa able to jump back on? We do also have Melissa Moore on the call, another member of our WREN team. They were so responsible for so much of the action that took place, especially during S1. And so I'm hoping Melissa will be able to chime in some during this and share some of their reflections too. Okay, so let's go.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Here we go. Are you nervous? In October, WREN hosted a Jam the Switchboard event. What was the purpose of the event? The answer choices are the SCOTUS nomination, paid leave for all, COVID-19, or the event didn't even happen.
Listen, I see the answers. I'm like, I don't know. Did this even happen? Oh,
Okay.
yes. Okay.
Ashley, do you want to chime in here?
I would love to. This was something that we did, gosh, it was right before the election and before session started, but Amy Coney Barrett was up for a nomination for the Supreme Court, and thousands of South Carolinians took action to ask our leadership to not rush the nomination process and truly vet out the candidate before they were appointed to a lifetime seat in SCOTUS. So SCOTUS stands for the Supreme Court of the United States, in case folks are like, what is this jargon you're using? But it was awesome because we had so many South Carolinians starting to take action, and it was just kind of the moment where you could feel everybody just building the movement.
And we played some cool tunes.
Yeah, that's the jam part of Jam the Switchboard. We had a pretty dang good time, I think.
Mhm. Do you remember what song you submitted, Melissa?
I don't. My
I don't
gosh,
remember mine either.
really
A
good.
lot is
Yeah. Gosh, that seems like yesterday and also 10 years ago.
yeah. Yeah, that's like the theme for 2020. Okay, next question. Oh wait, let's get the leaderboard. Okay, Cora, these stallion is like the stallion.
Listen. This may be the only time I'm number one, so I'm best.
Love it. We absolutely love it. Question 2. What was the bill number for the proposed abortion ban that would limit access to healthcare services for people in South Carolina? Was it H322,
Hush.
S1, S101, or H1?
Dang it. I know I hit the wrong one.
The correct answer was S1. And this is really significant because the bill number indicates the order in which the bill was filed. And the abortion ban legislation was the very first bill that our leadership chose to file this session. And I think, Ashley, do you want to share a little bit about the numbering of the bill and also like what this kind of communicates to the rest of the state?
Yeah, so we're looking at pre-files before session starts. So session starts in January, but they actually can pre-file legislation in December. So we're all looking at the pre-files that came in early December, and you open up the intro sheets. The House will start in the thousands and the Senate will actually start at 1. And Senate Bill 1 turns out to be a 6-week abortion ban. So in the middle of a global pandemic, when women have just historic job loss and unemployment numbers due to the lack of paid leave and childcare access. And folks are not only making sure that they can access healthcare to combat a pandemic that is taking their lives and causing lifetime damage when they potentially have COVID, our legislature decided to try to ban healthcare, which was a really strong signal for what this session was going to be, as almost us having to really push for the things that we need in our daily lives and during a pandemic, while just the red meat of politics is what they wanted to focus on. So that was the significance. It was a real indicator for me that this was not going to be a normal year. It's normal year that they go for abortion bans, because that is something that the General Assembly wants to do every year, unfortunately. But it was a stronger indication of just how strongly they were going to go for the red meat for a political base rather than taking care of South Carolinians. So we're getting spicy on this trivia. I'm not going to hold back. It's my party and I'll do what I want to.
I love it. I love it. That's the whole mood.
Can we celebrate before we move on? Some of the testimony that our network members gave was just beautiful. Cora, I believe you called lawmakers a menace to society a few times. Like, it was awesome.
They need to be called worse, okay? They need to be. Let's normalize full-blown cursing out representatives,
Okay.
okay? Because they just be getting out of pocket, way out of pocket. Okay, but this is gonna be a party. Let's draw it back.
Yes, totally here for the accountability of it all, because we love our state and the people of our state, and love often looks like accountability, right? Here for it. Who's winning? Oh. Oh no. Okay. Okay. We've got a little bit of a we've got a game now. That's what we have. We have a game now. Which of these direct actions did advocates take to protest S1? A march from Elmwood Street to the Capitol, 50+ car caravan circling the State House. They TP'd the bill sponsors' cars, a sit-in at the State House lobby. It's which one we did, not which one you would have liked.
I was just about to say, TP.
Let's see what happened. So I skipped the slide before we got to talk about it a little bit, but that was a really cool experience. I know some of our advocates on the call were actually in that caravan circling the State House. There were horns blowing left and right. Melissa, you did an amazing job of leading the organization of all of that. We got a lot of attention. We made folks hear us. And I'm wondering if any of our advocates who participated in the caravan want to speak to that experience.
Yes, I even get people asking about my shirt still, because I still wear my shirt daily. If you ask me, but definitely it was definitely an experience. Like, who would not want to make a lot of noise on the State House grounds? Like, just let's be some bad girls and let's just F it up.
I went there for the second one. I think mine was the smaller one, so I wasn't thinking about. I think there may have been like 15 or 20 cars involved in the time I went, which is why I got that one wrong. But it went pretty well. We were warned that there might be some like opposition, and I think I saw one car get behind me where there was nothing interesting on the back of my car except for my license plate. And I saw them take a picture of my license plate, so that was a little nerve-wracking, but it was overall a pretty good experience, and I'm definitely ready to do more wherever I can.
Yes, we are extremely grateful, and you may have a slight advantage on one of our next questions because you
Actually, can I just say, Kira, your chants were just awesome. If anybody needs anyone to do chants, I'm just saying.
Just extra girl, and I got you.
They were amazing. You took the bullhorn and like ran with it. Had you done that before?
No, but I always dreamed of just getting a megaphone one day and just being as loud as I can be.
Look at our network, making dreams come true.
Yes.
That's the lifeblood
Gotta be
of
loud, gotta
the
get their attention.
chants, really.
I love it. Okay, let's go to our next question. Da-da-da-da. What color was the gigantic abortion sign erected on the State House grounds? Was it black, blue, green, or red? I wish you guys could hear the Kahoot music. I didn't think so would play. It's great. I'll do a Diddy Bob so you can. It was green. It was green. Yeah, it was green. And we had advocates join our good friend Larry Reeves from Reeves Work, and they actually worked with us to create the sign, construct the sign, and to erect the sign on the State House steps. We had folks who came and signed the sign to show their opposition to the bill, and it was definitely a gigantic sign. It was super visible, and along with all of the other actions taking place, I think it sent a strong message that we were indeed in opposition to abortion and not afraid to say the word abortion. Yeah, that was fun. Did either of you, Ashley, Melissa, anyone have anything else on the sign other than how hard it was to get down?
I just,
Sign.
the thing that comes to mind is big abortion. Like,
We had a big abortion on the State House grounds. Yes.
we did.
As we should.
multiple days in a, well, multiple days during a week. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Makara, you know your stuff.
I am getting eaten up right now.
Cora, did you do the homework?
The homework, listen.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You were like, I'm gonna get you. Okay, here's a true or false one. So S1 was so problematic that legislators walked out and joined protesters on the North Lawn. It was true. And this question actually came from Ashley. Do you want to share some more?
Wait a minute. Okay, wait. I'm gonna say wait. I chose false. Let me tell you why I chose false, because I thought it was gonna say on the State House steps. Listen, were they not on the steps?
Okay, so don't come for Kayla because it was my question. So I understand that the points are now skewed. Cora knew that they came out. They came out on the steps. I put this question in because I thought it was such a beautiful moment of the policymakers coming and joining the community. So the community, we did all of these amazing actions outside the State House during COVID to try to make sure that we were safe. And so the honk through and the art, and then there was the human chain. So this is what day this was the human chain when the bill was on the House floor. And they're just so sick of the tactics. They were like, you know what, we're just going to walk out. And they joined everyone and joined the chants. And yet again, I just loved that moment being there. And I put a picture on our picture slide deck that we'll get to later, but I actually brought my sweet baby girl to come protest the abortion ban with them. So it was a really nice moment for me to see all of my different aspects of life there during this moment. What do y'all remember from the legislators coming out? A lot of y'all were there.
It was lit. I was like, hell yeah, bring our asses on. Let's fight this motherfucker. Let's get on them.
Yes.
I share some of that energy. I also think a lot, there's a lot of tension with relationships with legislators and representatives because a lot of them do it for the show. Like they come out there and like, yeah, this is what's going on. And this is a lot of them are like, this is happening because y'all ain't vote for us to keep our seats. I'm like, okay, y'all, some of y'all come out here to play the blame game right now, and we don't need all that because voting is not the only answer to change. But I do think, to a certain extent, it was interesting for someone to step outside.
It was great to see all those men that was actually fighting for women. Like to see that actually like stood out to me as well. Like that meant a lot because most men, they don't just stand up for nobody, especially women out these days.
Yes. I agree. It was good to see that the legislators came out. And I want to point out that they came out because the advocates were out. And as we continue this work, like we'll keep making noise and we'll keep like asking them to speak to us and for us. And I think that was an example of the power of our voices and the power of the work that we all get to do together as the WREN Network. I want to point out, Cora, that we have a comment on Facebook. Courtney says, Cora the Stallion is playing chess, not checkers.
Not complexity, not 3 steps ahead. Listen, I guess I'm playing spiritual chess because guess what? I don't know how to play real chess. I would love to learn how to play. But yes, in the game of life, yeah, we chess baby over here.
Do not give the WREN team ideas. We will tie chess into advocacy if we can. Let's go. It's holding steady. The leaderboard is holding steady here. Let's see. How many total hours of testimony did advocates provide in the first S hearing? 1 hour, 58 minutes, 3 hours and 22 minutes, or 5 hours?
I feel like I should have chose the blue one. I don't know. It's very specific.
It was 5 hours.
Look, I'm coming back. I did that on the whim.
And this is really significant. It's monumental. And I think I would like Ashley to kind of speak to just in having testified, some of you know, like the allotted amount of time, how amazing it is that that many hours were accumulated and how it speaks to the number of testimonies that were given.
Yeah, I would love to. So part of the complexity of starting off the session the way that we did was not only did they put S1 as the first thing during pre-files in December, they actually posted the first hearing before the legislators got to work that first Tuesday of session. We as advocates were required to sign up to testify by 9 a.m. that Tuesday morning for a Thursday hearing of the first week of session. And so this is something where folks are not like, it's in tune. They're like, okay, they start Tuesday at noon and then we'll pay attention to session. No, they required us to sign up by 9 a.m. before the legislators even clocked in for their day on the first day of session. And they limit testimony to 3 minutes apiece for each testifier. So to accumulate 5 hours of testimony when they put so many hurdles in place. And it was amazing that there was a Teams option, so a virtual option, but Teams was kicking folks out. So our advocates, like when you layer all of that complexity and the barriers and what was happening, it is incredible to think about the dedication that folks had to making sure that they were logged in for that amount of time, stayed on, said what they needed to say for bodily autonomy, and to just call out that S1 is not what we needed. And it's just one of those moments where I definitely, that pre-file moment where I was like, oh, this is what session's going to be like. And then this first hearing and seeing the volume and commitment from our movement from all different parts of the state, like I was like, okay, we can do this. 2021 is going to be hard, but we can do it together. So that's what this question means to me and what this moment meant to me.
Yeah, and I also want to add on to what Ashley said and say, when you sign up to testify, you also have to sit there literally all day to wait for your name to be called randomly. It's at random. And so you would think at this point in time, since we were online so much, they would have slots or a way for you to understand where you are in the lineup, but they literally will call your name. And if they call your name and then the person who is facilitating letting people into the room so that you can testify virtually does not let you in, then you'll be just skipped immediately. And if you don't have someone on the inside to say, oh, hey, you skipped this person who signed up to testify who's in the waiting room, then you're just skipped. And they may or may not, most likely will not come back to you. But yeah, it's an all day thing that you are pretty much doing.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we recognize what that calls for from advocates. And another question we have is going to speak a little bit to some of our approach on how we are responding to what we know is a sacrifice from advocates in many ways. From a time standpoint, a lot of our advocates were especially vulnerable during testimony. And so we really want to make sure that we express how appreciative we are of your willingness to testify and to model that for other folks. Like the State House belongs to us and we get to take up space in that building. And so for the willingness of folks to do that virtually and in person has been amazing. And so I want to, for folks who are joining us, to let you know that we are celebrating the end of year, or end of session, it's not end of year, end of session. And we're doing so by having a little trivia with some of our favorite advocates and just recapping some of the most memorable moments from session. I want to point out again, Courtney is really cheering from the comment section on Facebook, and Hufflepuff, she says to let you know there is still time to get back in the game. So hang in there, Jonah. You have folks rooting for you.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. I went into this knowing that I was not going to do well.
You're doing your best.
Right? Your best is good enough, Jonah.
Another true false question. The Campaign for Southern Equity partnered with RAND to host a training about the transgender community. Is this true or false?
I know the people who did it work for both campaigns. I was about to say, if this is a true question.
It is true. And I wanted to give Melissa a chance to talk a little bit about this because they do an amazing job cultivating relationships and partnerships at RAN. And this is one of those partnerships that has, I think, just begun to blossom in ways that we couldn't imagine, and has accomplished so much. So Melissa, if you don't mind, not to put you on the spot, but
Yeah, Ivy and Winston actually were the original folks to expose us to Kahoot and the wonders of Kahoot. They work with Campaign for Southern Equality, also work with Gender Benders in the Upstate, both amazing organizations that do very critical work in South Carolina. It was such a wonderful training. I think some of the folks that are on this call were actually in attendance. And if you haven't seen it, I believe it's still up on our Facebook page, right? So I encourage you to go back through some of the links on our Facebook page and check it out if you weren't there.
yes, and we have comments in the chat box that says the training was awesome. So absolutely agree. And if you feel the same way, having watched it, or if you watch it and feel the same, please be sure to share it with your personal networks and connections. Let's see what the leaderboard looks like. I have a theory, I have an idea of what it might look like. Let's see for ourselves. Okay. We still have a game. We're still going. There are at least 4 more questions. An example of RAN incorporating healing justice in our work this session is sending thoughts and prayers during crises, offering work sessions to testifiers, distributing first aid kits to state senators, or none of the above. Okay. So the correct answer was that we offered breathwork sessions to testifiers. And this is another thing that Melissa helped to coordinate, working with Braley Johnson, who has become a good friend of our network. We've really tried to lean more into healing justice practices and to consider the whole person and their humanity, and not to just see people as commodities to get to meet ends. And so, Melissa, I love hearing you talk about this. Do you mind sharing a little bit?
Well, one thing I want to say to folks who are organizers and activists and advocates is that so often we sort of put our own needs aside to move work, but our wellness is the work, and we cannot sustain in this work it's really difficult and it's never ending. And if we don't stop to take care of ourselves, then we're not going to be able to be in it for long. And we need everyone to be in it for the long haul, because we're playing the long game here, and we're not going to win every issue. But if we can hang on and take care of ourselves along the way, that's winning in and of itself. So Braley was just this wonderful healing justice advocate and practitioner of breathwork, who does just amazing energy work and sort of helps us stay grounded. And every time I work with Braley, I always feel so much more calm and better. And so I encourage everyone, anytime these breathwork sessions are available, to do it.
Absolutely. Braley is awesome. And she actually just joined us at the State House, what was that, last month, for an event to celebrate caregivers. And we were able to do some breath work out on the State House lawn. So that was awesome. We appreciate Braley and everyone else in our network. And so let's see what the leaderboard looks like. Oh.
Okay, Cora, go Cora.
All right, hey, listen, we still got a few more questions left. I don't wanna bask.
We are taking bets in the Facebook comments section. I believe Courtney is doing it, so yeah. I know who my money is.
Wow. This is a tight one. This is a tight one. Let's see what the next question looks like. That might help determine. Another true or false question. The General Assembly passed a resolution celebrating Black motherhood this session. The answer is true. And I'm gonna let Ashley take this one.
Yeah, so I'm surprised the true false. It's probably because of the nature of our legislature, but we have strong leadership from Senator Mia McLeod in the Senate and Representative Camrell Garvin in the House. And so during Black Maternal Health Week, a resolution was passed celebrating Black motherhood and elevating the information on how racism is playing into Black maternal health and how we need to address that problem. So I want to see who got it right. I want to see this leaderboard.
I'm guessing it wasn't Cora.
Oh,
There's
I
still
definitely
time.
guessed on that question. I just said, oh, it sounds like a true question. So let me just hit it. I
Listen.
love that Black motherhood. So let's do it.
Yeah. I wish I would have went that way. I'm pessimistic, so I was like, I kind of remember, but I'm gonna err on the side of caution and say no. But yay, yeah, they did.
And I also don't want to move past the question without lifting up the leadership of Dr. Carrie Claudia Allen, who is leading these conversations with the legislators at the State House.
Yes.
We work in partnership with Dr. Allen, but she is very much leading our state in addressing Black maternal health outcomes. So I wanted to make sure I said her name.
Absolutely. And then shout out in the chat box on Facebook. Okay, that's not what you were looking for. I don't know that happened. Okay, Woo, it's Thursday. Let's go. Another question. How much money is lost by a Black woman in South Carolina over the course of a 40-year career? Is it $500,000, $800,000, $1 million, or Black women don't lose money? What are you guys talking about? And the correct answer was $800,000. Yes, I'm gonna take this one again, Ashley.
Yeah, so this question came from some of the work that we did on our Equal Pay Week of Action. So Equal Pay Day was the time of the year that the average woman has to work into the new year to make what a white man made the full last year. So they basically could take vacation. White men could take vacation while women had to work to make up. And for Black women in the state of South Carolina, they actually make 57 cents on every dollar that a white man makes. So Kayla actually had the most genius idea to put this how much you owe me on giant checks, and had advocates from across the state tell the South Carolina General Assembly how much was owed to them. And so I wanted to, we'll have pictures later, but wanted to make sure that this was captured, that we need pay equity in South Carolina. Black women are losing $800,000 over the course of a 40-year career. So the time was a long time ago to fix pay equity, and the time is now. So we all need to take action.
Absolutely. And that action with the huge paychecks, again, Melissa's organizing work, absolutely incredible. They were responsible for helping to coordinate a lot of getting the checks out to advocates around the state and making sure that that we represented beyond just, Columbia into other areas of the state. So we really appreciate that. Leaderboard. Is it not going to move? Oh, no one. Okay. Okay. Which of these issues is part of REN's policy agenda? Is it health and education, freedom from violence, economic opportunity, or all of the above? Everyone got it right. It's all of the, what a great way to end the trivia, that last question, with everyone getting it right. That is amazing. And so the answer is all of the above. And this information is actually found in greater detail on our website, including more information about our policy framework, which I really kind of want Ashley to share a little bit about, including our process for developing that framework and the way that we leaned into community to do so, because I think it's important and it's indicative of the way that we have been doing work more intentionally. So Ashley, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about that, it'd be great.
Not at all. So when we say Wren's policy agenda, Wren has a gender justice policy agenda that outlines our core values, the real framework to which we analyze every piece of policy against. So you'll look at those things and you won't see bill numbers associated with it. That's a legislative agenda. So there's two different things. I just like to make the distinction. But our policy agenda was created with community partners who are experts in each of the areas that are listed here, and really just wrote in collaboration to understand what we needed as a state to address to achieve gender justice, because it's going to take a lot to do so. So I really encourage that you go to Wren's website and look at our gender justice policy agenda and know that that was written in collaboration, one-on-ones, focus groups, feedback sessions from folks who are experts in the field at communities who are doing the work on the ground to make sure that those values that we outline for gender justice truly is going to achieve what we want. So yeah, that's there. And so if you're ever wondering like what issues Wren works on and you want to work your way backwards, you look at that policy agenda, and if it hits a value, we probably will make a position on it and work in collaboration with you. So also, if you're ever working on an issue and you're like, you know what, I want to be in partnership with Wren, you should reach out to us, because that is the way that we do policy work, is that we do it in collaboration with our partners. And so we want to be as supportive as possible. So reach out to us if you've got an issue that you want to tackle. And if it aligns with our values, we will be with you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. And before we discover who won our heated competition today, I want to say that the real winner here are our communities in the state of South Carolina, because you guys are absolutely amazing. And our network is better for having you, and our state is better for having you. And the work that we have been able to do together and will continue to do together, like really just brings me, and I think I speak for the whole Wren team, just like so much joy and hope. And it makes our work that we get to do every day feel so much lighter, knowing that we can do it in alignment with advocates like yourselves. And so we're all winners, but there's one winner. In third place, we have Hufflepuff, Jonah. Y'all, the sound effects are so good. I'm sorry you can't hear them. Oh my God. So what I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. Would you like to make us? Yeah, while I pull up our slideshow, if you'd like to make a speech.
You did that.
Honestly, you guys, I don't know how I won that game, but thank you. I appreciate the win. But no, I really want to tell Melissa a really thank you, because if it wasn't, honestly, I want to say thank you. I wish my best friend was here on the Zoom, but if it wasn't for her or getting the message from whoever from Planned Parenthood, I think that's the name of it. You know, we wouldn't have been able to, you know, help the community with that S1 law. And I honestly feel like it was the great opportunity for me. We were able to get on the TV because we saw ourselves on the news. And I was like, look at us, we done made it. So, but it was really a great experience, and I love my shirt, and I love telling people about it every time they ask about it. I definitely, this will be something I can remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And we're grateful to have you here, and congratulations on winning. But that particular, like, I don't want to call it testimony, but I feel like church just came up in me. Like, that just, you speaking to your experience is exactly, you know, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create pathways for folks to see themselves in these spaces, to see themselves advocating for issues that they care about, and not to do it in a paternalistic way where we know what's best, but to help you take the skills and the sense of self-efficacy that you already possess so that you can speak up on issues that you care about, and maybe lean into some of the tools that we have and some of the expertise that God knows Ashley has. Like, you know, and so if we can do that, we're glad to do that. And as we continue to work, we welcome folks to give us feedback and to share with us more ways that we can continue to make advocacy more accessible, because again, the State House is ours, and the legislators, they work for us. And so if we can continue to make those pathways and find involved, like that's what we're here for. And that's what I think is most exciting about this work. And so I do have a slideshow, an end of session slideshow that I want to share. And I'm just going to run through the slide and leave it as a free for all if anyone wants to comment on any of the photos. Try not to cry. It's really sweet. I'm going to try to share my screen again.
And Melissa, while the screen's coming up, I see you off mute. Do you want to say a little something?
I want y'all to get as much rest and relaxation and community care and self-care as you can, because we got more coming, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to co-create all of this this year with y'all. So I'm looking forward to putting our heads together and figuring out some creative action for the next time.
And you know, if y'all need any person on the megaphone, I'm your girl. I got the same numbers, gonna stay the same.
All right.
Call me.
All right, we
Also,
got this recorded, so now we can hold you to it next time.
if I may say something as well.
Most definitely.
I just wanted to say thank you to Ren, the entire organization, and to the people on this call for teaching us how to provide good testimony and just be more effective advocates. Some of us for our own rights and others of us for each other's rights, and just learning how to help make the world a better place. So I just want to say thank you very much.
Oh, Jonah, that was so cute.
Thank you, Jonah. Thank you. Thank you for supporting this work, being a part of this work.
And being the only boy on this Zoom, okay, stand out.
I'm one of the few men on the in the women's caucus of the Young Democrats of South Carolina too, I think.
Can't have gender justice without breaking down gender norms. So it's making sure that all of our spaces are inclusive are very important. I see the slide deck is up. Kayla, I want to make sure that you have time to get to plug what's next. So do you want to fly through these? I put up a picture of Ann testimony.
Yeah, I do.
On this first deck, because I just wanted to like see this moment of how dedicated folks were of being there, masked up, testifying. So shout out to Ann Warner, who's not on the call right now. I don't know if this video, there's potentially a video after this billboard. So this is the billboard that was circling the State House that the cars were potentially even following this mobile billboard for the protest. And I think the video's next. Honk. Hopefully it'll play.
Oh, you can't hear the sound. I didn't set the sound up.
Beep, 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 beep.
I can hear it a little bit. But I just wanted to show the clip of the honk and also say that
look at us in the Kia Soul.
Miles away.
All of the balloons and the signs. It's amazing. Oops. Okay.
No, you're good. And this is all on our social media accounts too. So if you want to reminisce and go back, go to Ren's Instagram and you can see the videos of the honks and stuff. Look at this gorgeous sign.
The giant green abortion sign, the big abortion that we had on the State House.
Yep. Making a statement, no stigma. Okay, so I put this on as well. I just wanted to relive a moment that was like a really like policy moment that had never happened. So after the Democrats walked out, it was during the House debate. So we talked about it during the game, but there was a moment where, so the debate is still happening, and the Republicans were all going back and forth of whether or not they wanted to amend the bill, if they wanted to make it into full personhood, which would give constitutional rights to fertilize eggs, which Ren absolutely opposes. And they want to just pass the bill and get it over with because they had the votes. So Representative Jonathan Hill, like, tossed his amendment papers in the air. I didn't put the video in, but it's a real moment, like threw them in a frustrated moment. And then as the debate was like heating up, the House invoked a special rule, and I put it on the screen. It's 3.9 that folks who I've been lobbying with that have been there for like decades are like, I can't remember the last time they did this. They invoke this rule, and anybody who doesn't have an excused absence had to be like back in the chamber, and the sergeant at arms was in charge of going and getting them. So they basically invoke the rule, and then we're going to have like highway patrol go pull legislators over and lock them in the chamber to get this done. So that's how wild this whole S1, that full day and the S1 debate was. I just wanted to like not lose that moment, because when I think back on session, I think of that day of us being outside and like chanting and all the amazingness, and the legislators coming down, and then still like working and lobbying, and seeing Jonathan Hill throw those papers, and then having to text other legislators like, hey, you should go back inside before the police come because they're coming for you. So it was just wild, and I wanted to comment on it.
Does anyone else think it's weird that they can do that?
That is insane.
Definitely weird, and that's just big assholes. That's all.
It's a wild rule, and many people were like, I cannot remember them ever doing this. But yeah, it's been a wild
I feel
session.
like I was gonna say, I feel like we use the word wild a lot this session. I feel like that's come up for us quite a bit.
Okay, and then I have to put a plug because I'm obsessed with my own child. So that's Vera Lito on the right-hand side. I brought her to the protest. And then I wanted to put a picture. This was at the top of the State House steps. So while we were out doing the human chain, some of the folks doing the human chain actually walked up the steps and were doing amazing chants and holding their signs up into the lobby. And just wanted to lift up that forced birth is white supremacy. And I loved this photo, so I put it in.
Yes.
This is awesome photo.
Absolutely adorable.
And then didn't want to go by without shouting out some of the other amazing digital advocacy that happened over the session. And I really want to shout out Maya Ward, who's on our team at Ren, who has a lot of really creative ideas for digital advocacy. And one of them was this one-person protest. So you see folks from across the state who couldn't drive to Columbia to do the honks or put up the abortion sign or come for the chain. They did one-person protests, vote no on S1. And this isn't everyone, but I wanted to just make sure that we shouted out our network for engaging in whatever way they could. And I think this video will play so you can see all the giant checks from across the state. So this is what we talked about for equal pay. And I know we can't hear the sound.
The music is great.
Yeah, Maya does an amazing job of putting things like this together. But look, there's in Myrtle Beach, and you see Waterfront Park, and just all the amazing folks from across the state just really joining in and making sure they're raising awareness and lifting this up. Oh, there's Jonah.
Yeah.
Yay.
And then these are all the names of people who have signed on to support the Pay Equity Act through our online petition, and know that we have online actions people can take. So bills aren't dead right now. They are just paused until we get back into session. So you can go on there and email your representative to ask them to support pay equity. And that is available on REN's website, seren.org/legislative agenda. And you click on the equal pay bill, and each bill has its own page with actions. So you can put your name on that and make sure that you're engaging with your legislators in this off session. And we'll put more of those opportunities too. And then Kayla, you had mentioned our Caregiver Week. Just wanted to make sure I put amazing photos. And I think we still have 1-minute videos from Braley on the breathwork on our social media accounts too. So if you Yet again, if you're sleeping on Ren's social media accounts, you're missing out. You're on the Facebook right now. You might have gotten this link from an email. So you should go ahead and link to the other social accounts.
I want to say thank you to our friends over at Sunrise for making these signs for our week of giving, caregiving week.
Great signs.
And then, of course, the amazing Ivy Hill. They just had a birthday also, so happy belated birthday to Ivy Hill.
Happy birthday.
Testifying against the Trans Student Athlete Bill and the coalition that Ren is a part of, the South Carolina for Equity and Justice. Oh my gosh, what a day. South Carolina United for Justice and Equality. It's on the screen, so if I was paying attention, I would be able to say it. Ren is a proud coalition partner on that, and we work together to stop that policy, not once, not twice, but 6 times this session, and we will continue to fight against the notion that trans student athletes shouldn't have the opportunity to play sports. So please be on the lookout for that, and make sure that you're signed up to get info from Gender Benders and Campaign for Southern Equality, because they do great work. And then here's a crew of testifiers after that last hearing in the Senate on the Trans Student Athlete Bill. And you just see the diversity of all the amazing testifiers. You can see Jonah in the front. And that bill S531 potentially will have a hearing in the off session. They are allowed to take bills up in subcommittee and full committee during the off session in the first year of a 2-year cycle. So I want everybody to know that we really mean it when we say session is over, kind of. Please keep paying attention to action alerts and emails and social so that we can continue to fight against these bills.
And that was an awesome combination of both the Young Democrats of South Carolina and the Sunrise Movement right there.
Yes, and we are grateful for everyone who invites us to support their work as well, and to partner and to keep us abreast of what's going on in spaces that we are not spending the majority of our time. And so, like, again, it's just great to have our advocates with us on the call today. It's great to have played this game. I know if I'm going to Family Feud, I know who I'm taking with me. Like, you guys, like, pack your bags, we're going. This has been so great. It's been a fun way to celebrate an amazing session, to celebrate each other, to celebrate ourselves. You know, it's been lighthearted and fun, but we know the work is often super serious and it sometimes feels heavy. So it's just really good to know that we're in this together, and that, you know, we've said it, but we can't say it enough, that we appreciate the way you guys show up and the things you pour out to help make our state better, you know, and to support a future that we can really believe in. And so before we kind of cut out, because I know we're running out on time, I want to point out, again, I've mentioned several times the way that we're working and being more mindful of just decentralizing power within our network and making sure that we're spreading into communities, but doing so in a way that honors those communities and honors the people who have already been in the community, doing work in communities, that have relationships in those communities. And so on the 15th and 16th of this month, we have the first of its kind opportunity for advocates who'd like to not only learn more about the legislative process, but to take that information back to their communities, to help us share how the process works with other folks, to really increase the sense of accessibility that people have around advocacy. We are hosting a Train the Facilitators training on the 15th and 16th, 6:30 each night. And during that training, we will actually share with advocates how to conduct those advocacy 101 trainings for folks that they know, and sometimes for folks who request training network. Again, I think sometimes that the whole process, the State House itself can kind of seem like a little intimidating for folks. And so, in a lot of ways, it's intentionally so, right? But we can change that, and we can help people to see themselves in that space and to understand what happens in that space. And the way that we're going to do that is to continue to like share more information and to help support folks in feeling that they can share that information with that community, but also to hold Ren accountable for the things that we have said that we're going to do and that we support in that gender justice policy framework. So again, we've mentioned a lot of resources here today. Visit our website, visit our social media, stay in touch, let us know what you're thinking. Continue to celebrate yourselves and to celebrate us, because there'll be a lot of hard times, but we are also celebrations, and we get to like acknowledge that as well. And so again, thank you to our advocates for jumping on. I don't want to jump off without giving you one more chance to share anything that you might have that you'd like for the community to know that's going on. I'll stop for a second to do that. I know you represent some amazing organizations.
I'll just quickly plug, it's Park Circle Pride Week, and this Saturday from 11 to 4, we are doing Queer Youth Fest. So if you are under the age of 25 and would like to come into our programming for that day, and also throughout this whole week, there's programming for people of all ages. So I just want to uplift coming out and being community with people. But Queer Youth Fest this Saturday, the 5th, from 11 to 4 in Park Circle.
And that's Charleston, North Charleston.
Charleston, South Kakalaki.
Yes, thank you, Cora. Yes, awesome. Well, thank you all. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you, Ren team. Oh, I see Melissa.
If I can, I would like to plug a panel discussion that we have next week on, I think it's next Wednesday, June 9th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. We're doing a panel discussion called Reclaiming Repro, Resisting Abortion Bans, Trans Antagonism, and White Supremacy. So it's going to be a deep dive discussion into basically inspecting what all of these attacks against our reproductive freedom and our bodily autonomy mean, and what it means to reclaim the legislated body. Our panelists are amazing. Elizabeth Haupt from Song Columbia, Kim Smith from Party for Socialism and Liberation and Soda City Bail Fund, Quinn Brown, who's an MSW in the Sexual Health Department at U of SC, and Naomi Simmons Thorne from Center for Social Equity. So check out those links on our Facebook page. We should be promoting that this week, I believe.
So excited for that event. I admire those folks so very much. Just like I admire all of you, Ren team, that I get to work with every single day, and then our advocates who make this feel lighter in so many ways. Thank you all. Have a great weekend, and we'll be in touch soon, right?
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining and watching if you're watching. Bye, everyone.